So number one, I'm going to the graphing calculator. 4 over x plus 4. Make sure you and I both share the same graph right now. If you're not seeing that graph I have up on the board there, let me know. It's probably something on your settings that are a little messed up. Don't have it, Spencer? Okay. Question? Okay. Anybody else? We all good? Everyone can see this? Because you got to be able to see this on your calculator to answer the following questions. All right, here we go. Let's see if you can answer these for me. Domain. What values are your domain? No. Values. What values are you looking for? There's two values. There's an X and a Y value. X is for your domain. So I at least know this is going to start out with, and we're going to write it properly. My domain is going to be X such that, all right, let's talk about those X values. Now, as you go to every single value on the X-axis and look down or up, do you see a point everywhere? You sure about that? You may want to readjust your settings then. Okay, let's talk, please. Let's talk. There is one spot on the X-axis where if I go up or down, I do not see a graph. I see blank space. Like if I go here, definite graph right there. If I go right here, definite graph right there. There's one spot on the X-axis where there is no graph. And it is at X equals -4. So I'm going to say the domain is X such that everything but X cannot equal what? -4. Okay, good. Now let's go to your range. What values are your range? Y values. And we're already pushing my patience with not putting your phone in the sleeve and using it while I'm teaching. Perfect. All right, next up, do the same thing on the y-axis for me. Ready? If I go here, oh, shoot, there's a graph. If I go here, graph, graph. Is there any y value you go to and you look to the left or the right and you're like, nope, no graph? Yeah, where is it? Good, guy. It's good. Where is it? 0. If I go right here, I go to the left, no graph, no graph. It comes awfully close here, but we'll never touch. So yes, there's my range. All y values except y cannot equal 0. Nice job. I like it. Good start to today. And then Y-intercept. That's where the graph crosses what? The y-axis. Okay, where's this graph cross the y-axis? At 1. So I want it written as a point, though. Just don't write the number 1. Anybody know the point? 0. It's always 0 something. In this case, 0, 1. And then I know you guys have some other stuff written in there, which is, what's the first? Vertical asymptote. I'm just going to abbreviate it VA. Okay, vertical asymptote. Where can I put one of these bad boys? Right here. A vertical asymptote on that graph where the graph comes awfully close but never intersects. Like I don't want to put one there. Why not? Touches the graph. I want it so it doesn't touch the graph. Can you find a spot anywhere on your graphing calculator that I can put a vertical line and it won't touch? At where? -4, yeah. But I don't want to write I don't want to write that. I just don't want to write -4. I want an equation. So something equals -4. And remember, this is a vertical line. Anybody remember the variable that goes in front for a vertical line? X, yes. So my vertical asymptote is at X equals -4. Oh, whoa! Haven't I seen that -4 before? Where? Oh, maybe there's a relationship between the vertical asymptote and the domain. Maybe. We'll see next problem. And then finally, you have horizontal asymptote. Can you find a horizontal line that I can draw up here where it won't intersect the graph, but the graph may come awfully, awfully, awfully close? Right there? Ooh, nice. So that is 0, but I need more than 0. What do you think the variable is here? And haven't I seen that 0 before? Oh, so maybe horizontal and range are related. Vertical and domain are related. We'll see. We need one more, though, to prove our point. Everyone all good here? Okay, clear out Y1 for me. Graph number 2. Make sure we match. Okay, before you get crazy, let's do this together because we're going to find some more patterns here. Domain. So everyone look on the x-axis right now. Oh, there's a shoot, there's a point, there's a point, there's a point, there's a point. Is there any point on the x-axis where I look above and below and there's no graph? What is it? 3? Everyone agree at 3? Yeah, you're correct. So what's my domain? X such that x does not equal 3. All right, let's stop right there. Could I have gotten that a different way other than looking at my calculator screen? Look at the equation you typed in. What is so significant about 3 in that equation? Use your big boy, big girl words. Go ahead. Go ahead, Isabella. You go by Isabella or Bella or Bella? Okay, thank you for letting me know first day of school. Go ahead, Bella. 3 makes the fraction undefined. That's how you find your domain from now on today. All right? You look at the denominator, what makes it undefined? There's your domain. Done. All good? Okay, what about the range now? I don't have a trick for the range. You just got to look at the graph. I'll have a trick later on before you walk out that door, yes, but you got to look at your graph now. Where on this graph, if I put a point and go left and right, sorry, no. Go ahead, Julia. Julia. Yeah, I know. What? Julie. It is Julie. Go ahead. Sorry, Julie. Right? So here's what I mean. Like say this point. That can't be that's part of the domain because there's a point there. 2. Anybody else disagree? 2? So I'm going to say y such that y cannot equal to 2. Okay, sorry. And by the way, it's called braces. Get to my level. All right. If you're going to criticize me, do it right.
I was just letting the class know.
Braces. Parentheses, brackets, braces. I don't. That's what they're called. I don't know.
No, those look most like braces out of all.
Okay. All right. Regardless, Y-intercept. Oh, crickets. That's what I expected to hear. Because last one, it was pretty darn clear it hit at 1. Why don't you settle down there, tough guy? Okay. Because you know a little cheat code on your calculator. Congratulations. Yeah, it's a cheat code. Yep. Okay. Hey. All right. Now look. By the graph, you can't tell. But yes, many of you are saying, I go to my table, I see where x equals what? 0. So you can do that. Or you could take the equation and plug in what for x? 0. So you can say, what's 2 times 0 plus 1 over 0 minus 3? And it's 1 over negative 3. But I don't want it left like that. I want it as a point. So what would be my y-intercept? 0, comma, negative 1/3. I want it as a point. And yes, I know. Again, go to your table, look where x equals 0, and give me the y coordinate. Fine. I'm good with that too. Vertical asymptote. Where can I put a vertical line where it's not going to hit the graph? At 3. Oh, what else was 3? Okay, so they are related. Whatever my domain is, that's going to be part of my vertical asymptote, x equals 3. And horizontal? 2, which was my range. So y equals 2. Questions? Because now no more calculators. No more I don't want to look at the graphs anymore. I want to do this all algebraically. No calculator work. No calculator work. The only thing you can use your calculator for is to crunch numbers. I don't want you to graph, and I want you to see how easy this is. All right, negative 4 over x minus 2. It's asking me for the horizontal, vertical, and the y-intercept. I'll start with the easiest one, which is the y-intercept. So without using my table, how can I get around this? Wherever you see x, plug in a 0. So negative 4 over 0 minus 2. And that ends up being negative 2? Negative 2? That's what I thought. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Yeah, come back when your math abilities at an A level. 2? But that's not how you're going to leave it. How are you going to leave it? 0, 2. Okay, let's go vertical asymptote now. How am I going to do that without the graph? What was vertical related to? The domain. How did I get the domain? Look what makes the fraction undefined. What makes this fraction undefined up here? Don't say a word. Oop. Oh boy, suspense. 8. And it ends up being 2. So how do I write that for my vertical asymptote? X equals 2. Quick challenge. How would I write the domain if I asked for it? X such that X cannot equal 2. Good. And now finally, here's the real big new thing I got to show you, and that is without the calculator, how do I do the horizontal asymptote? Okay, how do I do it without a calculator? All right, up above, I have 3 different scenarios that will tell you how to find the horizontal asymptote. Before I do you know what the degree, because this mentions the degree of the numerator and degree of the denominator, you know what it means by that? That means the highest exponent in each. Okay, highest exponent in each. So if you look at ours that we're doing with number 3, is there even a variable in the top? No. So we say, anybody know the degree if there's no variable? 0. 0. Okay. And then what's the highest exponent showing in the bottom? The highest exponent showing on the bottom is 1. Yeah, everyone. Okay, ready? Let me back up. What's the degree of what I just wrote? 4. Right? It's the highest exponent. What's the highest degree? 1. 0, because there is no variable. So everyone okay on identifying degree? Okay, now let me go back to number 3. What's the degree on top? 0. And what's the degree on the bottom? 1. So the denominator has the bigger degree. So now you look at your scenarios. Degree of the numerator is greater than the degree of the denominator. Did we have that? Numerator is bigger than denominator? Nope. Did we have numerator is less than degree of the denominator? Yes, we did have that, right? 0 and 1. So what do we say our horizontal asymptote is? Y equals 0. And unfortunately, yes, you can whine about it as much as you want. I have tissues over there. All right, if you need to sniffle about it, yes, I'm not going to give this to you on Friday. Okay, you got to know these 3 scenarios on your own. Okay? Questions? But if you practice it, you won't need to memorize it. Right, Aiden?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, last bonus question. What's the range without a calculator? What's the range of this equation? Y, Spencer, when y does not equal 0, because it's related to the horizontal one. All good? Let's go. Next one. Y-intercept first. I think hopefully you guys can find that on your own. So I'll give you a second to find it, and I'll ask for somebody. Y-intercept. Give me it as a point, not a number. 12. What do you got? Y-intercept. Great job, as always. 12. Oh, you're unbelievable today. 6. Just looking for the Y-intercept. It is your bad.
Gee, gotta be a point. It's gotta be a point. He said that.
0. Okay, ready? You just plug a 0 in for x. Okay? So if you plug 0 in on top and on the bottom, what number would pop out?
You got 2 over -1, so -2.
So that means my Y-intercept is 0, comma. We all right? You good? You sure, Ben? You good? You sure?
We're good.
Okay.
Keep chugging,
You sure?
Yep. Good game, Brian. Here you go.
Did you... Way to change the subject so quickly. Yep. 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 Did you also know, Ben, do you watch the news at all? Did you hear about the new invention they came out with the other day? The new invention that came out. Yeah. Called the comb. All right. Yeah. You might want to just take a look at it. I don't know if they're selling them yet, but okay. V? That's the way I roll. That's the way I roll. All right. That's the way I roll. 0 and a 4 if you ever want to get the Carlino special. All right. 0 and a 4. All right. Just tell your barber. All right.
I would have commented tomorrow with the comment.
Okay. Here we go. All right. Going on. Now, vertical asymptote. Start grinding the wheels on top. Vertical asymptote is related to the domain or range. Domain, how do I find the domain? What makes it undefined? In this case, x equals 1. That should be the easiest of them. Okay, now we're getting some used to this horizontal asymptote. You got to look at the degrees. So I'm going to need some help from somebody.
Got it.
Yep, sure. 5, ready back there? Okay, all I need to know, degree on top. Degree on the bottom. So what happens when they match now? All right, I'll do the teaching. All right. When they match. All right. When they match. You do the leading coefficient. What's that mean? The number in front. What's the number in front of the numerator? In the numerator, 4. So it's going to be y equals 4 divided by, what's the leading number in the denominator? 1. So it should be y equals 4. Yep. Questions? Oh, I got a bonus question for somebody. Oh boy. 1. Here we go. This should be good.
I'm ready. Big man.
If I asked you to come up here and write the domain, what would it be?
I'm gonna tell you.
Based on all the work we just did, what's the domain? X such that what?
X such that x does not equal. One moment. X does not equal 1.
And what if I asked for the range?
y such that y does not equal. I'm gonna get there. 4.
Great job. Finally. Oh, I got to get the, yeah. I'm just, yeah. No self-respect on these. That's an embarrassment. We all good so far? It was. All right, one more on your plate. Go ahead. First, find the Y-intercept for 5. Zero to the 4th minus 2 over 0 squared minus 1. And what number are you getting out there? Oh boy, 5 back again.
Sorry.
Y-intercept, 0 comma what? Nice job. Excellent. All right, I know I'm going to catch a bunch of you here for the vertical asymptote. Think about it. It's related to the domain, which makes it undefined. Julie? Half correct. Half correct. There's 2 values here.
Oh.
There's 2 values that make it undefined. 1 and -1. Why? Hey, watch. Why? Because what's in the denominator right now? Tell me exactly what's in the denominator. X squared minus 1, and I want to know when it's equal to 0, right? Factor that.
You got it.
What do you get? Going into Friday now. X plus 1 and X minus 1. So see how you get your 2 answers?
Yes.
All right, so what's my vertical asymptote then? X equals +1 and X equals -1. So you are going to get 2 different vertical asymptotes. Ooh, horizontal. Here we go. Ready to go. Ready? What is the degree on top? What's the degree on the bottom? So this is our last scenario where numerator is greater than a denominator. So go ahead and read through that scenario. When numerator is greater than the denominator, what do you know about the horizontal asymptote? There is none. Not y equals 0. There's just none. Good? Great. Top's greater than the bottom. There's just none exist. Oh, you think you're off the hook? No. 7, you ready? Great job as usual. How about 2? We ready? Domain, Lauren. Domain. Cannot equal x such that x does not equal 1 or -1. Great job. Now here comes the clincher. Range. If we wrote none, no horizontal asymptote exists, how do you think the range would work? Haven't talked about this today. There's nowhere on the graph where there's a horizontal asymptote. Well, it could equal 0. There's no horizontal asymptote anywhere. That means everything is fair game. But I don't want you to write range as everything is fair game. Anybody remember how you write that back in the day? All real numbers, yes. Okay, everybody good? So if it's none, the range would be all real numbers. Everything's in fair play. All right, last one. Ooh. Oh. We'd be all good if I gave you that. I hope 3 over x minus 7. But then I threw this little thing at the end.
2 problems in 1.
It's not 2 problems, it's just 1.
No, I'm saying, like, are we gonna the denominator?
Do you remember maybe last year when you took a graph and did, like in this case, -8? What happened to your original graph? Where'd it move? It moved where? It moved down. In this case, it's going to, this graph, ready everybody? This graph is going to move down 8. So I want you to think about this. If you're wrong, who cares? What would that affect if you moved everything, ready? Down 8. The Y value, so keep talking. Which two up here would it affect? It would affect your horizontal asymptote and your, nah. It's going to affect your range, yes? Those two values, everyone agree? Yes, no? And I think you said it, I just disregarded it because I wasn't ready for it yet. There is one more thing up here, the Y-intercept, right? Because anything going down 8, ready? Here you go, my arm. I know it's a great visual. Down 8, horizontal asymptote, Y-intercept, and if it's the horizontal asymptote, it also affects the range, okay? So let's figure this out together. What one you want to do first? You want to do the intercept first? Okay. Real quick, before I shifted it, what would have been my Y-intercept? Plug in 0, everybody. What would have been my Y-intercept? Before I did any shifting, this graph right here, negative 3/7, because you plugged in what for X? 0. So originally would have been negative 3/7, but I moved it down where? 8. So my Y-intercept, ready? Would be negative 3/7, and what are you doing to it? Moving it down 8. So go ahead, negative 3/7 minus 8. Leave it as a fraction. That's why I have your calculators out. Zero comma. Negative 59/7. Just leave it like that. I know it doesn't look pretty, but hey, it gets the job done. What do you want to find next? It's up to you. I don't care. I prefer to find the range after the horizontal asymptote, but it's your whatever you want to do here. What do you want to find next? Class decision? I want to do that at the end. Because it's nice to know the horizontal without.
Let's do the horizontal.
Okay, ready for the horizontal? I got to look at the degrees now. What's the degree on top? 0. Degree on the bottom. Look at your scenarios. 0 on top, 1 on the bottom. Okay, well, yeah, for this one it's y equals 0. But what did I do to it? Moved it down 8. So instead of y equals 0, what's my horizontal one now? Y equals negative 8. Stop me here, please. We good there? Y equals negative 8. Okay, now we can do the range, now that I know that. Y such that what? Nope, don't tell me.
Taken.
7. Great job. 5, again. Y such that? Perfect. Okay, you want to go vertical now? Did the shift affect the vertical at all? No, did not affect the vertical. It only affected the horizontal. So vertical, what makes it undefined? So the vertical is going to be x equals 7. Whatever makes it undefined. The shift does not affect it. And then finally, what is my domain? X such that. Finish it. Finish it. 7, as usual. Always a good finisher. 11, finish.
X does not equal 7.
There we go. Right? So the only thing that affected the -8 was the horizontal range and y-intercept. Questions from you guys? You guys got plenty of time. Grab a darn book, get going. Hey, notice the directions tonight. Do not graph. It'll say to graph in your textbook. You do not graph. Do you see the only things I want you to find? Same things we found all today. All right? Here is the answer key. Get yourself going.